Good afternoon. My name's Dave Richardson. I'm the director at CMAS, CTEC and Construction for Fareham College. And we are working in partnership about, careers in education within the construction industry, and looking at employers and how they are coming to find that their workforce is an aging workforce that allows a bit of development and a bit more retraining. When we're looking at environmental sustainability as well, and how we're going to embed and use employers to support us in developing our curriculum. So looking over the course of the last 3 years, we developed a groundworks initiative, and we've built a centre called CTEC on the south coast in Leon Solent, and that's in partnership with our employers, moving them forward to tackle how we are developing a workforce at a very base level and allowing different pathways. We're also now as a college looking very much into and how we can provide the future training within construction, but only targeting, or not just only targeting, the traditional construction areas such as brick, carpentry, plumbing, electrical, but looking into development of an environmental skills hub, an environmental development centre, which will allow us to train the future technicians, engineers that are going to be apparent in how we change and how we build and how we put our infrastructure in. The big push for the environmental sector is massive. We've got local areas within Eastleigh looking at implementing 2,500 houses with no gas supply. So again, it's a massive change in how we are going to be moving forward. And to do that, we are working very closely with our employers. So working very closely with our employers means we are able to offer young individuals, people who are retraining, coming through school or colleges, or looking for a completely different change in career, opportunities to talk, meet, and even specialise in these actual areas as well. The conception of working in construction is very different. It's very difficult to change people's views and and what is available out within the construction area. When we're looking at mindset, within education, the construction gives a fantastic career. It's not just a course in a college. It will set you up with a very skilled career, and it will allow different pathways to be developed over the course of your journey within construction. When we're looking at construction trades, a lot of people think low level, level 2, level 3, equivalent to an A level, but the pathways now and the actual diversity within construction and the training available out there ranges from level 2 entry all the way up to a level 6 degree program with degree apprenticeships. And again, working with our employers, we are developing these pathways to allow the future of the industry to choose when they're looking to choose their options at year 9, year 10, and they're looking to sit their GCSEs and then on from their pathway from there. The key thing for me, and it's being very open-minded, making sure you are very open-minded, and construction is not just the mindset of, you didn't do well at school, go and do construction. The mindset of construction is you need to do very well at school, because the opportunities out there, as I've said, up to a level 6 actual degree pathway is amazing, really. And with that skill set, it also comes with a very good pay reward schemes. Most probably working closely with our employers over the last 3 years, especially within the groundworks industry, they are very supportive of all of our individuals and our apprenticeships will go through. The amount of support they put in place is amazing. It's most probably one of the best sectors when they are supporting individuals coming through in the development, and they will invest substantial amounts of money into how they are training, not just the old ways of construction, but looking at how their footprint, how many trucks are going into the road, and the waste, how they recycle, looking into it all becomes a very sustainable industry. My background's in engineering, and engineering has most probably looked at the engineering side of climate action and the climate change going through and supporting that way, but construction is moving that way forward as well. And again, everything is going to be faced around that. There's set targets within construction over the next 10 years that, X amount of houses will be, eco-friendly. Every house will have, the solar panels fitted, air source heat pumps rather than a gas boiler. There will be electric vehicle charging stations in every garage. And again, we're having to make this move, and we need the skill set out there. So it's a very exciting time for us all to be going through. So again, this COVID has had a massive impact in regards to being able to get to our centres. And when we do invite and looking at a career, there will be open days within our centres, be able to come around, network. And the key thing for me is not just students and individuals, it's changing the mindset of, parents and guardians and, the support that the individual will have to take a career, changing the mindset of some educators and teachers that construction is a very viable career moving forward. So again, when there is open days within my centre, within other centres, within the actual county as well, it's making sure that people are going to these with an open-minded and asking those difficult questions of not what do I need to get in, but where will this qualification take me? Where will it take me? Where will it lead me? What opportunities will I have? And they're the sort of questions you need to be asking, not just have I got enough to do the course? Make sure it's a vested career for yourself. Looking at recruitment of male versus a female ratio within the construction, it is a very heavily weighted male industry. But recently presenting against, for strong female leads, we are looking at the range of courses that are open to all aspects, male or female. And, the fact that being in construction doesn't have to be male dominated. It is a very valuable insight to seeing the females I work with within the industry of how they develop and how they support and how they progress. And again, it's a viable option for everyone. Moving forward. So looking on for where we are and what we are moving into this year, we are looking at developing and delivering what they class as a new technical level, or you most probably all heard it as the T level. The T level is a 2-year program aimed at level 3 over 2 years. And again, is very supported in the work experience placement with the employer. The T levels that Fareham College are going to offer within construction are the on-site T levels. The on-site T levels being in bricklaying and carpentry. And then we are also looking at the the design, survey and planning T level, which will be delivered out of our CTEC centre, which is focusing on becoming a civil engineer. On completion of a T level, there's an expectation that the employer will support in placing for 315 hours over the 2-year period, that work experience element. There will be an employer set project where the employer is very engaged within your career. And again, looking at the T level development and the support from the employer could well, lead to an apprenticeship program. The idea from that apprenticeship program isn't to step back and do another level 3 apprenticeship, but to always continue moving on and moving forward. So you would come in and do a 2-year level 3 T level, moving on to a level 4 apprenticeship program, which is equivalent to HNC or the foundation degree level within a university. So again, not opting to go to university, but there is that option with the T level, but going back into an apprenticeship, working more closely with that employer. Some individuals don't like the idea of going straight to work, but they will go straight into the T level, as in moving to universities, and we'll take that route. I think there's just a question come through. I'm just going to pull out the question. Will courses change to reflect new practices such as installing heat pumps on new builds? So over the next 12 months, from September 2022, let me get this right now, next year, don't want to wish our lives away too much, we will have at Fareham College a development of our built environment and environmental green technology centre, which will include the training on air source heat pumps, ground source heat pumps, EV charging stations, solar panels, and that will be supported with the T level, which is Building Services Engineering T level. So hopefully that, Julia, answers your question with that. So again, and then that will lead into either an apprenticeship or going on to university as well. So with regards to how we are developing within the centre itself, a lot of our curriculum is designed around what we need to deliver as part of a qualification, but then supported and developed with the employers of what we can deliver to improve the overall experience for that individual or individuals on the course, what meets the industry needs, and in allowing them to go out into industry after the course, and they are capable of continuing and progressing their career within the industry. So making sure everything that we deliver is relevant, making sure everything that we are going to deliver isn't going to be outdated as soon as we start delivering it. So we're looking at 2-3 years actual down the line. When we are looking at regards to the use of technology, so again, the implementation of using drones to survey land, to then go through with your total station. So again, we're going to go into drone assessments, using building modeling information through AutoCAD or 3D design, but then stepping into a virtual reality world. And when we're looking at stepping into the virtual reality world, is the VR headset moving in and actually starting to engage rather than just looking at a computer screen. So the next 2 to 3 years within Fareham College is very exciting times for any new students coming in. Doesn't matter if you're new to the college or returning to the college, there'll be such a great development moving through. And when we're looking at the range of qualifications, we will always constantly look to develop what we do deliver. The taster days are essential for any new student looking to get into construction, coming to meet the lecturers. We've gone away from trying to recruit and upskill teachers. We tend to go out now and we are looking to recruit directly from the industry. And again, that poses challenge on our side, but bringing people in from the industry and looking at how we are developing in regards to teaching our, the actual learners coming through, it's very relevant to have that industry experience. As part of my staff within the centres, they are expected to do a minimum of 5 days a year work experience, getting back out in touch with the industry. A lot of them do a lot more than that and are very engaged with the industry. And again, it's coming to open events. Our open events isn't just coming to see us at the college. Our open events is coming to see us, meet the employers, look at the pathways, look what options they've got on. So you're having an all-rounded approach, as well as our initial advice and guidance from the centres as well, which will be great. So, Catherine, I think that is me in a nutshell. I'm just waiting for some questions coming through.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, David. Yes, absolutely. Audience, please do share your questions for David Richardson while he's with us this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I wonder if you could tell me a little bit about the facilities that you've got at Fareham College. You mentioned there the sort of environmental centre, I think, that you're
so we are looking to go through and looking to build in an environmental centre to support the running of our T level in building services from September 2022. So over the next 12 months, there will be some changes on site at Fareham College. And again, we will look to develop our centres from there. We've got the architect's first drawings and plans looking at that. And again, so that will become a nice centre. Again, we can't go into too much detail because I don't know the full facts and figures yet. So with that, but that is a development over this next academic year. Off the back of that, we have 2 other centres. One that runs in Leon Solent, well, 2 centres in Leon Solent. So that's at CTEC, which is our Civil Engineering Training Centre, which is aimed at our construction-specific apprenticeships, covering groundworks, highway, civil engineering, looking at our engineering surveying course next year, which is level 4, and then looking to run our T-level design, survey and planning out of there. And then next door to that, we have CMAST, which is our engineering centre, which covers everything to do with the likes of engineering from aero, mechanical, marine, and again, so has some elements of construction areas inside, but not as much as CTEC in the main campus at Fareham College on Bishopsfield Road.
There's another question just come through.
So from Sharon, I think, so, hi David, will we be offering any courses on the climate emergency and sustainability, as we've had a suite of 5 courses being approved by CPD at present? Again, this is an area that we could look into. We have no plans at the moment because we are very focused on the design and development of the T levels, especially with the building services. But in comparison with this, I'll be very interested to see what the suite of courses that are being approved to run for CPD would be great, and we could then start embedding that as well. It's a massive push for the college, this environmental and sustainability within the college, and we need to do more as a college to embed that into our curriculum.
Fantastic, absolutely. I mean, it's certainly something that's been picked up across today, well, across the whole of the festival really, but something that maybe construction is not at the cutting edge of all things sustainability. There's more that could be done
I think there is more to be done, and again, it only starts with us as educators as well to try and get that in at an earlier age.
Absolutely. While people are putting in more questions, I've got a question about the CTEC Centre itself. I know that it's actually a finalist for an RICS award. Can you tell us a little bit about the centre and the award category?
So the award category was, just trying to remember now because we had 3 or 4. The centre itself was built in partnership on actually developing our social areas around here with deprived areas and targeting routes into construction. And again, being very successful. We've got 16 employers as our partner employer group, which we hold a employer group each month, and they lead on that, and that covers areas such as the curriculum design, the finances of how the centre's being run. So again, are we invested in the right type of training, the materials, the equipment? And they advise us on that, and as well as health and safety. As the finalist, it's about the building, and if I'm right in saying, it was about how it was targeted in the location. It's the actual aesthetics and the solar panels and the EV chargers then we've put in, which go along with the building regulations which are being built at the moment. But again, it was through COVID, so it was a bit hit and miss. So I had an interview face to face just before we went into the first lockdown, and then it's been, I think, online about April, May last year as well, and then picked up this year. So I haven't been too involved because I keep marketing to that. But again, once we hear from that, it'd be ideal.
Absolutely, yes. It's been a strange old 14 months or so, hasn't it?
No, definitely. And trying to teach construction online is very difficult sometimes, especially when they're very hands-on individuals.
We had a couple of university students earlier on as a panel who were talking about some of their experiences from sort of learning remotely. One of them was a second-year student, so she was saying in her first year she got to do all of the university life thing, and now this was fine because she could just get her head down and do her studies. Yeah. But the first year one didn't feel quite the same way.
No, definitely not, which is a bit of a actual difficult time, I think. And I think it's a difficult time for all students, even progressing into next year with the actual the centre assessed grades, and trying to present things through to students, and how we're going to get people to talk about their achievements this year, because their achievements are very much impacted on how they've engaged this year. But when we're looking forward and moving forward, I think people who achieved this year haven't had it easy. Haven't had it easy at all. I've got a 13-year-old son who's engaged through lockdown, who's found it very difficult, but has just kept his head down. So again, it's horses for courses really, and who is better suited to online learning, and who's better suited to face-to-face learning.
Definitely, and education can just do what we can do to help out there.
That's it.
I know you've mentioned this a little bit earlier in the core of your talk, but we've got school children here, teachers, careers leaders. What sort of advice would you give people about considering construction? I know you said that it's actually a career for where you have to be quite smart. You have to keep getting qualified and keep learning.
I think for any individual that is thinking about any sort of career moving forward, not just only construction, but they need to be able to obtain the highest possible grades in their core subjects. You know, the maths, the English and sciences will give them a great foundation. But then they also then have to develop the grades, as in, you know, if they're looking down the design, if they're looking down the IT, because within construction, you wouldn't think you need IT, but IT plays a heavy part when we're looking at CAD drawings and CAD design and building modeling information. You know, so again, you know, giving yourself every opportunity to choose after leaving school is better than being very isolated in what you can and can't do by being presented a selection of courses that you could do if you achieve these grades. So the highest grades, head down, get rid of your Xboxes, get rid of your PlayStations. That's what I would recommend. You know, heads down, you know, a bit of sport, get out, be a bit physical, you know, Xboxes and PlayStations. Again, you know, there's a need for that at some level, but again, you know, listen to your teachers. The teachers are not trying to disencourage you. They are very supportive, but again, you know, we need to work very closely with schools to be able to offer the progression routes through as well.
Absolutely. And on that note, teachers and careers leaders, I will absolutely encourage David to join us on Best Connect, so you can put your questions to him there. But for people who don't know your area of the world, what sort of investment, infrastructure, construction type work is happening in and around Fareham and Hampshire at the moment?
So within Hampshire, if you know those who live in Hampshire and have to travel down the M27, they've most probably been in the 50-mile-an-hour traffic jams, you know, and speeds on the M27 for the four-lane smart motorway. When we first built CTEC, it was projected over the 5 years. So building CTEC at the start, 2017-18, when we started to look into building a centre, it was predicted that £15.5 billion worth of construction was taking part within Hampshire itself. If we are looking just within Hampshire, we're now looking down Southsea. There is big contractors in Southsea rebuilding the sea defence walls. There's also massive works going on Southampton dockyards, again about development of the dockyards and the infrastructure around there. But at present, the biggest one that has the most impact on anyone living in the South Coast and on the M27 corridor is the 4-lane conversion to the smart motorway.
Wow. So that, I mean, even projects like that just must have a huge number of staff that they need to bring in, and apprenticeships and things to.
And it has a huge number of staff, and we work very closely with Hampshire County Council and their contacts about employment skills plans, and we look at where they have to provide X amount of taster days to schools, and we support that. You know, so if the employer is not sure how to engage with the schools, they'll come to us. We'll then engage with the schools, bring the employers in, hence why we bring them in. I know a lot of our employers go to a range of colleges and also a range of schools and present on their open evenings. But I went to an event in the New Forest, just trying to think, September 2019 in the New Forest, and it was a STEM event. We had a construction centre actual setup, and within that centre we had construction, aerospace, marine, and a lot of the technical BAE systems. Very rarely did the schools and educators stop to engage with construction. They bypassed it because they saw that the other technically advanced areas such as BAE systems and all that, with the higher apprenticeships that were on advertising, were the main source of people going to, and a lot of them missed out the construction area. So it's just changing that mindset about construction.
I think so, and we've got work to do ourselves as the industry to make that happen, but it's certainly something I know that for young people, the idea of working in an industry doing pretty much the same job that their granddad would have done is not that inspiring. But actually it's an industry where technology and innovation is coming forward, and the challenges are huge, and we've got to find ways to solve them.
That's it. And they are, you know, they're never going to be solved overnight. And again, all the time we can keep these, you know, lines of communication open, these events going. The employee group I'm working with at the moment are looking hopefully for next September, October time to launch a big construction STEM event running out of CMAST and CTEC as well. So again, that's engaging with all our employer contacts and targeting all of our primary schools in the area to sow that seed at a really young age as well. And then the main idea of the event is to target the learners and the students during the day, but then hosting an event where we can then support teachers and the educators and parents and guardians to come in to then see what construction is really like. So it's going to be a big event, hopefully in a year's time.
That sounds fantastic. Any schools in the area, obviously, who are on our call at the moment? I don't know who you are off the top of my head, but if you're in the area, do get in touch, get involved, connect up with David, if I can get him over onto Best Connect, and just keep that conversation going, because I think that is so important. It sounds like it's a phenomenal opportunity.
Yeah, so we're taking a step away from it and we're letting our employers design and develop it. So, so our employers are taking the lead. We are just providing the facilities.
Oh, wow. Oh, that will be interesting to see if they rise to the challenge.
Yeah, no, and yeah, so we will go from there. And I think it is big. It will be a great event.
Fantastic. I know that we're running out of time, so if there's any more questions for David, do just put them in the chat. But can I ask, as someone who's been in the industry your whole working life, obviously as an engineer yourself, but now educating the next generation, what would you tell people about the industry? What should they know? What's your experiences?
My experiences, so as an engineer, I had a great apprenticeship. I had some fantastic individuals that taught me my trade. And then from there, it's being open-minded to be able to be committed to work outside of your working hours in developing yourself as well. So looking at different courses. So, I started as a technician working for a manufacturer, ended up as a project developer for them, come across into the construction side within colleges, developing the curriculum and working with employer groups from there. Never thought starting out at 17, 18 as an apprentice, I'd end up sitting within a college advising youngsters of, the opportunities out there. It is going to be a great, 15 years, over the next 10, 15 years, there's going to be so many changes happening within how we deliver, how we maintain, how we build, and how we design. It's a great time to be involved in construction. Fantastic.
Thank you so much for joining us today and giving us that insight into the world at Fareham College, but also, all of the things that you need students to know. So please do keep the questions coming. Please do keep adding to the Q&A. Audience, we're going to keep getting those covered. But for now, please join me in saying thank you so much to David Richardson for joining us. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.